Hey, be a squid and subscribe to my mediocrity.
How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be doing the wow. It's 3:42 in the morning. I couldn't sleep, so I decided, hey, let's just get some fucking work done. I apologize if this is fucking ass. Anyway, we're doing the Doom Eternal actual review. It's definitely been oh boy, it's been an experience. I know, very descriptive. That's the truth. It's been an experience. Doom is one of those games that legitimately follows a lost arc of gaming. It follows a formula that doesn't necessarily exist anymore. By today's standards, most video games are super, I don't know what the word is, they're baby mode, like most games that try to be super appealing to the casual base, and there's nothing wrong with that, mind you. I understand that there's that's like a niche genre, not even a niche, that's a huge appeal to a lot of people, and that's fine. I totally understand. But Doom follows a formula where the difficulty is in it, baby. It is in it, bro. You can't, it's hard. On top of that, it follows a very linear map design where it's just murder, 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 and then find where you need to go. That is essentially it. It's a very simplistic game, and in this case, beauty is fucking simplicity, and you have to just kind of sit back and appreciate that for a moment, because it's something that doesn't really exist all too much. Most games by today's standards really try and overload their titles with insane mechanics, or, you know, like the survival genre has really picked up. Not to mention you have, you know, things like Anthem of all fucking creatures. And no, I'm not comparing this game to Anthem by any degree. I'm just saying in terms of like failure and overwhelming mechanics slash storylines or anything like that. Just, it's nice to get back to the basics and the root of all the inspiration that is being taken today, even though I would argue the fucking point that majority of games definitely are not taking notes, because dear lord, they really need them. So one thing I do want to point out as I'm doing this review, this is my first actual like Doom modern game. I haven't played the damn series since all the way back in the fucking 90s, and I can't even remember what it was like to play the game in the 90s. So I actually had to do quite a bit of research to figure out what's new, what they added, how are things comparatively to 2016 Doom and whatnot. So I'm going to put a link in the description, maybe the top comment, to some videos comparing sound design as well as weapon designs to Doom 2016. I forgot the channel name, but shout out to that guy. He went in depth, and I got a super clean perspective as to what I was missing out in comparison from the previous game. Now, to go ahead and open up with some positives here, I gotta say the sound design is just, you should have known it was gonna happen. I mean, it's realistically fucking Doom. The sound design is insane. I'm a sucker for sound design, the way weapons feel. It is just like it's a fucking orgasm in my ear, dude. I swear to God. If your game has like the most trash combat ever, but like I feel the weight and I feel like the sound design just makes up for it, I'll fucking get over the combat. But I really need the feeling to be in my hands. Like I want my control to feel like I'm shooting a fucking shotgun. That is what Doom does. Somehow my Xbox One controller just feels like a shotgun. The weight behind it, the loud bang, every gun that I've used as far as, you know, my playthrough has gone, has just been just fucking phenomenal. Just back to back bangers after bangers with the sound design. Not to mention the way it feels. There's so much weight. And typically, you don't necessarily feel weight in your guns. You more or less feel that with the melee, and the melee in Doom is just goddamn beautiful. You really see just the gory mess of body parts flying everywhere. Even when you're shooting the gun, they got body parts falling off them. There's open wounds on their body. Just attention to detail was so crazy. I could honestly go on and on about the sound design and how the weapons feel, but it just doesn't do enough justice. You have to literally experience it for yourself to understand how physically satisfying it is to shoot a weapon or to hit that melee button. It is just, it's so good. It's so good. Now, to segue from talking about sound design and just how it feels in terms of the combat and whatnot, let's talk about how graphically pleasing as well as how it performs. I am playing on an Xbox One. I haven't purchased it on PC yet. I don't know if I will, because on Xbox One, and I'm using an Xbox One S, mind you, not even an X, it runs phenomenal and it looks amazing. Obviously, it's not fucking PC, you know, comparatively to console. There's clearly going to be a huge fucking difference from PC to console, but this is by far one of the smoothest fucking launches of all time, as well as just performance-wise. I was half expecting this shit to be all sorts of trash, given the fact that, you know, fucking goddamn Bethesda, but yeah, I mean, you know, it surprises me that somehow this is the only game they managed to not fuck up by any degree. Back to what I was saying a second ago about how the game was just running as smooth as butter. I'm using an Xbox One S that's like 5-6 years old, and I gotta be honest, I'm genuinely surprised that I haven't seen any severe like frame droppage. I haven't been seeing any like huge lag issues. There's nothing absurdly you know, graphically broken or anything like that, at least that I've seen so far. It's just a wonderful, you know, feeling having an actual game in front of me that is not straight hot garbage, especially coming from a fucking publisher like Bethesda, who is you know, known for their exploits in recent years. Now, I mean, we do have some negatives to talk about, but I gotta be honest, this is like completely subjective to, you know, person to person, and I've always said this about video games, but when it comes to repetitiveness, this is going to happen regardless of what video game you play, whether it be a MOBA, FPS, action RPG, or whatever. These games do get repetitive the more you play them, and that's just kind of the feeling I'm getting from Doom, but it doesn't necessarily set in too much in terms of, like, you know, playing a different type of game or whatever. Like playing Call of Duty, I can play that game for maybe about an hour before I'm like completely checked out and brain dead. But Doom, for whatever reason, I don't even know why I say for whatever reason, for obvious reasons, it doesn't set in until like maybe 2 or 3 hours in. The level design, the combat, the sound design, there's a lot of satisfying like ASMR feeling aspects about Doom that just keep you just well invested over the amount of time that you're playing, which is damn near about surprising because my attention span when it comes to shooters is not really all that high, but Doom is one of the light exceptions that I really paid attention to and stayed invested in for more than an hour. As I said, this is going to be completely subjective to the person that's playing the game, so I mean, you may or may not feel the weight of repetitiveness as soon as, you know, 5 to 10 minutes or whatever, but you are essentially doing the same thing over and over again, murdering mobs of enemies, following a linear map design, and like I said, simplicity, double-edged sword here. There's some beauty in it, but there's also some, you know, severe negativities when it comes along with it whenever you're talking about repetitiveness. Some other minor subjective things that, like, I'm really having to draw at straws here for fucking negativities, because I mean, it's honestly like maybe a perfect game. I gotta be completely honest with you. This is definitely gonna, I would assume, rival, if not, you know, outright beat Cyberpunk for probably game of the year. But I guess to kind of maybe nitpick a little bit here, I think some of the design choices in terms of the you know, demons and whatnot, and some of the even the gun designs, I don't think they're necessarily super cool, especially since I know what the previous guns used to look like. I think that there could have been a little bit more thought going into making these guns look metal as fuck. There's a few guns that do look metal as fuck, but I gotta be honest, some of them, like I think the plasma rifle, I think that shit looks dumb. Like that shit looked like a fucking metal box that I made in Arc and just made a gun out of it. It doesn't look great. It really doesn't. The sound design is pretty good on it, but overall, it looks trash. Like that's probably the worst thing I could probably say about Doom, and it's not even that big of a deal, and it's completely subjective. But in terms of some of the demons, I think majority of them look pretty fucking good, but I think we're all in agreement that some of them definitely not nearly as demonic looking or evil cool kind of look. I think there's a few of them that definitely could have either stayed as they were in 2016 Doom, or at least been updated to some other degree where they look, I guess, more evil or maybe more intimidating perhaps. Oh, actually, one severe negativity that I do want to discuss that I think is a problem and will get fixed relatively quickly, but the multiplayer is not working for me with friends. I can play the multiplayer by myself, especially the demon one, which is the one I really wanted to play with a friend, but whenever I queue with a party, it does not allow me to do so. It just immediately cancels the matchmaking, which really sucks, because that's what I was looking forward to multiplayer wise with a homie of mine, but that doesn't seem to work. I'm not sure why. I've looked and other people are having the same issue, so I imagine this will get patched probably within the next week or two. Not really a big deal, but definitely something I should mention in case you're looking forward to the multiplayer with a friend. I also should mention that I've done some reading on Reddit posts and other forums, and it would appear that most people are saying that it is severely unbalanced and favors the demons more than Doom guys, so there might be something to look at in that regard, but unfortunately, because I have yet to play it at all, I can't actually speak to the legitimacy of this claim, but as far as I can tell, there's a lot of people saying that it's really unbalanced, so I'm more inclined to probably believe that, but until I get in there myself and figure it out, it's kind of hard for me to speak on that behalf. Anyway, in conclusion here, boys, let's just be realistic. I keep trying to find some negativities to fucking talk about, but it just feels like I'm nitpicking and reaching at fucking nothing. So yeah, it's 10 out of 10. This is a great game. It's simple, it represents a gaming genre and a style of game that is pretty much non-existent. There's only a very few titles out there like Vermintide and Left 4 Dead, and these titles, I would say, are also kind of in the low end sort of spec, especially Left 4 Dead. That shit's been literally dead for years, and Vermintide is going a little strong, but I imagine with time it will probably also end up as, you know, Left 4 Dead. This game is legitimately beautiful, and I have no choice but to actually give it a 10 out of 10. I'm literally trying to reach here for any kind of negativities, and it's legitimately fucking possible. This game is beautiful, sound design is amazing, it's graphically and also performance-wise pleasing. I have absolutely nothing to say, but just, yeah, I mean, you should definitely invest some time into Doom. It is fantastic, and I can't recommend it enough. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.